Mike, how's it going?
All right.
So you're going to be at the Auckland Writers Festival this weekend?
Yeah.
Looking forward to it?
Yeah, kind of.
So what are your plans?
There's an event in Lawn Street called the Friday Poem, which is people that have had poems published on the Spin-Offs Friday Poem feature. And at the end of last year, the editor for the Spin-Off, Steve Brauness, put together an anthology called the Friday Poem. So there's 4 readers, everyone reads a poem, their poem from that anthology, and then a few more of their own.
Okay, so that's what you're going to be doing?
Yeah, and then I've been shortlisted for this thing called the Sarah Broom Poetry Prize.
Heard of that,
It's being announced on this Saturday.
Yeah.
So there's a event for that. I read some poems of the other shortlisted poets.
Cool.
Yeah.
Could we get a bit of a sneak peek or no?
Of the poems?
Maybe, yeah.
I haven't got any of them on me, eh?
Okay.
I would have bought them if you told me to. Eh?
Sweet as, man.
Yeah.
So, what are you planning on doing after the festival?
With my life?
Yeah.
The same old, eh?
Yeah.
No, I'm enrolled at Waikato University doing postgraduate papers there, so I'd like to continue with that.
Right.
Yeah. Try and write some other things.
And how long till you graduate there?
I've only just started, so I don't know however long a master's takes.
True.
Yeah.
Did you hook up with Catherine on that one?
I saw Catherine down there. Yeah, she teaches down there, but she doesn't take any of the papers that I'm on. Oh, yeah, no, she does, but I'm not in any of her classes yet. Yeah.
So you released a book, was it last year or the end
last
of
year.
Last year,
March last year.
Walking to Jutland Street. Tell us about that.
Okay, so that was a collection of poems that I started writing in. The first poem I think I wrote in that book in 2011, and then the last poem 2017.
Cool.
Yeah, so it took a long time to write that book. And I sent it off to one publisher. They said no thanks, and then I sent it to Otago University Press, and they were interested in publishing it. And then went through this process of editing the book with an appointed editor.
Cool. So when you got declined the first time, sorry, where was that at?
I'd rather not say.
Okay,
but like,
fair
yeah. But I mean, it doesn't. There's not many people that publish poetry. So that's why.
But you didn't let it keep you down.
I think like you read so many memoirs of writers or biographies, and like every one of them has had it.
True.
Scores and scores of rejection letters.
Yeah.
Being told their work's shit, all this sort of stuff. Hey. Fuck them, mate. They carried on, eh? Sorry to swear, but that's what they did, eh?
Yeah.
They
just keep on keeping on.
Yeah, worked on in spite of those sort of.
Yeah. Just like J.K. Rowling,
Yeah.
Turned down how many times, and today she's a multi-millionaire.
Yeah. There's plenty of writers that are like that, I'm sure.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah. But like the act of writing is sitting at your desk writing, eh?
Yeah.
All that stuff is the book stuff. That's another thing altogether.
Yeah.
I'm more comfortable with the being at my desk doing the writing part of it, eh?
Yeah.
That other side of it is quite daunting to me. Eh? Like,
fair enough.
Yeah.
But it's something that everyone has to.
I think they have to do that. Yeah. And writers have to kind of get over whatever anxieties they have about that sort of thing. Like submitting work to journals and stuff is really important, and trying to make a dailiness of a writing practice is really, that for me has been really beneficial. Like snatch even the smallest little bit of time, but make it every day that you work on something.
And when you're like out and about, do you find yourself like seeing certain things and having that give you inspiration for more poetry?
No, all that stuff, I don't know what happens, man. All that stuff goes into some big like cauldron in your head or something, and then like a poem or a story or something comes out of it. Or whatever. But yeah, there are moments where like something is handed to you. Like I had this a poem guy handed to me like the week after the mosque shootings in Christchurch. So I took my son to visit the Ranui Mosque, and there was a gang member handing the armed police a bottle of water and some pies and sandwiches. And I think, boom, you don't get things like that handed. You know, so that's the poem, mate.
So you're going to keep that
built up.
stored?
Well, I went home and the poem was like, I just sat down the keyboard and then I was like, there's the poem, mate.
Cool.
Yeah.
So what are you planning to do with it?
Well, I've got this other manuscript of poetry that I've just finished for another book, but there's a section about my son. So that is sort of included in the poems about him, because he was with me. He didn't see the dudes with the cops with the guns or know about the gang members or know even that the women there with their children were upset. He just saw flowers and bees and like you know, hand painted placards and posters. To him it was an innocent thing of colour and language and all this sort of stuff. It wasn't.
That's the thing.
He didn't know the implication of what he was commenting on that. So so that was what that kind of poem came about.
Well, that's something you can always go back and talk to him about, you know, in the years to come when he's a bit older.
And maybe that's why I'm writing these poems now with him.
So we can go back.
I hope I live long enough to get to explain those things to him, but like, you know, so you write poems so that something untoward happens.
Who knows, maybe on his 21st you can rock up with a full book of poetry about him.
I wrote him a book of poems for his first birthday. Yeah, just 12 poems based on this little hard card book that has farm animals.
Cool.
That was his favourite book for a while.
Cool.
So I just wrote a little poem, one for each month of his first year of being in the world. And each poem is sort of a response to an image in this little book of his. So he's good for my writing.
Well, maybe that's something you could look at publishing in the future.
Maybe.
Sounds like a bit of a cash grabber.
I'm not after the cash. No, it's my jam, mate. But I think he's good. He's a good. What's interesting with him is like as I watch him learning about language and language, finding his language. I have to do that as a poet as well. You always have to try and keep refreshed or something. So that aspect is really cool. And my language has changed in my poems since I've watched him you know, learning to speak and to ask for things and all that sort of stuff.
Do you think he might take after his dad one day?
I hope not. not the way that I. No, it came to poetry, but no. If he likes books and he likes drawing and kind of painting and stuff. So if he can keep some fire for one of those things, I'll be happy.
What have you been reading, Mike?
Oh, I don't get time to read anymore. No, since I got given the last book that is a posthumous novel, posthumously published novel by this Chilean writer that I like called Roberto Bolaño. So it's the danger about books that are published after an author died, that those books probably weren't published in their lifetime for a reason, you know. It's sort of one of those, but lots of poetry, lots of essays by a guy called John Berger. He's really cool, dude.
And what's he all about?
He's about many things, but he's about you know, perception, all sorts.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, he's cool. He writes about poetry and he writes about language. He writes about visual art, lots of things. Yeah.
Something that always interested me, Mike. You write a poem, someone reads it, and they perceive whatever it is to them.
Yeah.
Quite often, that will be totally different to what the writer might have been trying to instill in a poem.
Right.
Do you think poetry should be an interpretive process for the reader, or should the reader actually try and uncover what the poet is trying to say?
I don't really write the types of poems that, like, you know, are full of codes or riddles or any of that sort of stuff. Like, I like declarative, simple kind of language and poetry. The older I get it, it doesn't mean that the poems can't be intelligent. But yeah, the older I get, clarity is the benchmark to me in writing.
Rather than abstract.
Well, no, you can be abstract as long as it's clear, right? But like,
yeah,
you know what I mean, Like that's what I'm finding. The older I get, I like to read, writers that are very concise and clear.
Yeah. True.
Yeah. But you know, like when I came to study here, it gave me a taste for writing prose. So I wanted, that's what I'm trying to do. If I'm fortunate enough to get accepted into this, I'm doing an honours paper at Waikato at the moment, and if I get into their masters thing, I'm going to work on prose.
Yep, fair enough. So what?
Like a book of short stories.
You did a poetry manuscript for your final year at MIT, right?
No, I didn't. I did a it was prose. It was sort of like a discursive kind of memoir thing.
Right.
I say discursive because it wasn't kind of linear.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah.
A bit abstract as well.
I don't think the writing's not that abstract, but there's sort of moments where the protagonist or person that's in the manuscript has these sort of memory triggers.
Right.
Quite a big long
So is it
flashback?
Is it sort of like a novel with true elements?
No, it's more like a non-fiction work written like a novel.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But I haven't. I'm still working on it.
Okay.
Yeah. It's quite a big thing.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
So like what I did for that was like 3 or 4 sections of the book or something.
Yeah. So.
But I always get these other projects that come along and I want to like work on those.
Yeah.
But,
kind of get in the way.
You know, like with poetry, you have to sort of you know when the poem's waiting to be written. Like I don't think poetry is something you can force.
True.
So it's kind of quite good to have something that you can work on in between the times when no poems are coming.
True.
You know?
True. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I think I tried to write poetry all the time, and your poetry gets a bit rusty, and you kind of like, and you repeat yourself.
Yeah, you need fresh ideas.
Or you just need a fresh approach to language.
Yeah,
for sure.
Any technique for developing that?
This stuff is like a mystery. Like I think how everyone approaches that is so sacred to them. Like you can't explain it.
Every poet's different.
Well, no, just what starts the poem, or like how they treat that impetus or whatever. True. You know, like, sometimes I like to like walk around with this thing in my head until the whole poem's there, and then sit down and try and do the first draft. Other times I've got the word or the phrase or the image there, and I want to start playing around with that. You know, it just depends on how. I don't know. So I don't think the poet dictates those sorts of things. True. The poem wants all those. Will announce announce the conditions of its kind of arrival. Yeah.
So is what you're trying to say is that sometimes you think of just randomly think of a certain phrase that you want to use, and so you try to figure out how to build around that phrase, or
I've always kept notebooks, like those little red 1B5 notebooks, or small things like that, and just always bang, like be a magpie, things up like that.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're like that phrase that you found out while you're walking through Mount Wellington shopping mall or something, that you put down, that drops into this poem that you're working on 3 months later or something that's completely unrelated.
True.
I kind of like that idea that language with poems is like you can collect language like you would screws or bolts or parts. Like a poem is built up of little bits and pieces.
True.
It's like it's an act of upcycling almost. You upcycle language that gets used millions of other ways into another thing.
Very true.
Yeah, and you make that language into a form, the poem.
So do you have a ritual for writing?
Yeah. I get up at 5 every morning, sometimes a little earlier. Yeah. Then work till 7, and go and hang out with my son till he's up. And then if I don't have any work that day, I'll go back and then knock off at about 3 o'clock.
Cool.
Yeah.
So
in the evenings, I'm not much chop for doing any writing, but like I'll just read over something. I try to, get into my shed as much as I can.
Yeah.
Every day.
So what do you do apart from writing? Because obviously you don't like make a full.
Sparky,
Okay.
Yeah.
And
I still
that's
do a bit of that.
Electrician.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And do you work for a company or is it your own?
No, I just do it. I'm my own man.
You're an independent.
Yeah, because I just want as much time to write as I can.
Yeah.
I'd like more of my week to be spent doing writing than working.
Fair enough.
So I try and jig it like that.
Yeah.
Which is silly because it means I'm constantly kind of poor or whatever, but I'm happy because I'm freaking knocking poems out and stuff. Yeah. But it wasn't. I don't know. It's not the most responsible way to go about planning a life, I don't think. But whatever.
I think you find that quite a lot of people out there who don't have money are sometimes happier than people who do.
Yeah. But it's expensive to just breathe.
True.
So. But happiness, and I'm happy when I'm in my shed making poems, man.
Yeah. Also, you sit in your shed.
Yeah, I've got a shed that I built,
cool.
and I wired it up, and it's got my desk and my computer, and I just go and smoke out there and work. And, it's pretty good.
You get a good Wi-Fi signal?
Nah, no Wi-Fi. No,
true.
I'm grateful for that because
distraction.
Yeah, the internet. I'm not. Some people writers sing the praises of the internet. For me, it's just a wormhole,
Yeah.
And if I'm trying to work on a poem or something, and the internet's there, and something in me is having trouble with what I'm working on or whatever, the internet is the thing that I'll just end up spending the rest of the day on. So
fair enough.
I use the internet in the house, but I don't do it in my writing shed.
Yeah. Kind of got to keep the two things separate.
Yeah, because I'm easily distracted.
Yeah.
and the internet is like the perfect thing for a person like that.
Yeah. It's a good way to procrastinate and
And so that becomes part of a routine.
Yeah,
it's having a studio, not having the Wi-Fi there. That all.
Well, the shed was we've got such a small house, that when my son was born, it was like, where am I going to write? So I built a shed. It's away from the house. Yeah, it's good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to add?
No, keep writing. Make a daily practice of writing. Believe in yourself. Send work out everywhere, right?
Do you have anything you want to plug, like your book or?
No,
No?
not
Yeah,
really.
man, go out and
Yeah,
buy
just
Walking
Go out
to
and
Jutland
buy
Street.
Walking to Jutland Street.
Yeah, that's the way.
Published by Otago University Press. There you go. How's that? Nearly always it is still dark when he threads the chain of the roller door through his hands, and as that steel door shudders and shrieks as it rolls up, he will most certainly be wearing his red waistcoat woolen swan dry, the one that smelled of cigarettes and the sea. When the roller door made its final revolution around the steel pole, clanging the day into place, and impressions from the cold iron chain links were still laddered dents across his palms, my father, most certainly with the gentle light of dawn suffusing the asphalt yard before us with a newness, would take a gold box of Benson and Hedges and lighter from the pocket of his swan dry. My father, standing with his back to me, tamping against the gold box the cigarette he will soon light. Deep in reverie, what is it he was contemplating? Was it the way the dew settling again on the windows of his ute would glisten like broken particles of iridium? Or was it the sad piles of spent cardboard tubes, vinyl and fabrics wrapped around them by mullet-headed upholsterers named Mark and Terry, who sported black jeans and flannel shirts, the scraps used to cover couches and chairs and car interiors? As he stood there, my father, with his back to me, was he watching the breasts of a woman named Sandy, the blonde my mother insists he had an affair with, moving beneath her apron as she bent and lifted a tray of bread at the lunch bar across the driveway, while I waited among the wrecks inside his workshop? Is it too late to ask him if he was looking at the metal halide street lamps, craned in vigil like haloed icons over the nights of Nelson Street? Did my father stare past the wire lattice fence of the freight yards into the stacks of battered grey and green containers? Instead of an impenetrable lexicon, did the names of mysterious ports ring in his mind like fragments from ancient poems or koans? When the sun rose above the corrugated iron factory and Kenworth trucks with trailers arrived at the freight yard, and men wearing blue overalls who worked as upholsterers, car wreckers, mechanics, panel beaters, spray painters, auto electricians, scrap dealers, forklift operators, lined up in Sandy's lunch bar to buy pies and ham sandwiches, cold cans of soft drink and cigarettes. Did my father wonder, standing behind him, if I was sharing the same reverie?